Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Aiemann Zahabi versus Aoriqileng. Aoriqileng has a record of 24-9. He's 29 years old, and he's giving up 1 inch of height, but he's got 1 inch of reach on 35-year-old Aiemann Zahabi, who has a record of 9-2. So a lot more experience for Aoriqileng, but it's a lot shittier experience. Mainly, he's fought lower level guys, but we've seen him for now a few fights in the UFC. We know what he's all about. He has 8 TKO victories, just 1 submission and 15 decisions. Not a submission artist at all, this guy. I describe him as a brawler, pretty much. I was going to say technical brawler, but I think he's just a brawler. His 9 losses come 2 by submission, 7 by decision. He's never been knocked out. The 2 submission losses are to good guys. One of them a former UFC fighter, Grigory Propov, and that was early on in his career. And then a few fights later, he got beaten by this guy, Musayev, who I think he's a Tajikistan, a Tajik, or whatever. But he turned out to be a good fighter himself. Still, those were 6-7 years ago at a minimum, if not closer to 10. And since then, Aoriqileng, he's only been beaten by decision. We've seen him lose to Cody Durden, Jeff Molina. Jeff Molina beat the shit out of him. In the end, he really beat the shit out of him in round 3. But then he got cracked with a punch, which saved Aoriqileng from losing a 10-8, really. But otherwise, that was not a great round 3 for him. Against Cody Durden, he had a solid round 3. That was a fight in which Cody Durden won a decision, but I feel like it could have gone either way. And it all comes down to that round 3. Aoriqileng, he's a guy that doesn't have the greatest wrestling, and when he's fighting a wrestler like Cody Durden, that's more obvious. But when he's fighting someone like Jay Perrin, it's less obvious. Then his wrestling comes to life, and you see he's more than just a brawler. But still, he's largely a brawler, and even in that Perrin fight, I thought he had a bad round 3 there. Jay Perrin took over that fight. Really wasn't a good look for Aoriqileng. But again, Aoriqileng has pressure on his side. That's his number 1 trait. I expect this fight to be contested on the feet, and I do expect Aoriqileng to win with aggression. Not win, but to win the octagon control battle with aggression and pressure. No doubt about it. But Aiemann Zahabi, I think, is a better striker. Probably hits harder as well. If he decides to throw, I'd envision him having the harder overhand punch. But Zahabi is a neutralizer. This guy is like Mateus Nicolau, kind of. They suck you into their type of fight, slow things down with good counter strikes and overall prowess. Aiemann Zahabi's a better striker, but still Mateus Nicolau is a damn good striker himself. And Zahabi, he doesn't have the most experience, but he's proven to be a pretty tough guy to beat. Only 2 guys got him out of there. Vince Morales beat him by decision. I don't know why I said get him out of there. He beat him by decision. And Ricardo Ramos got him out of there. Knocked him out with his trademark now, spinning back elbow. Unless that's Molly McCann's or whatever. But either way, he knocked him out in round 3. There's no shame in getting knocked out by that strike. But still, between the 2 of them, he's the only guy that's been knocked out. So despite him having the power advantage, as far as who gets the first knockout, I usually lean towards the chin. So I guess I'd slightly favor Aoriqileng. And submission, I don't expect to be a thing here. I don't expect a submission to end this fight. And as for the decision, like I said, I'd favor Aoriqileng winning, assuming neither guy has big moments. Aoriqileng wins with the pressure. I think he wins with aggression and probably a little bit of volume as well, unless Aiemann Zahabi ups his game and decides to meet him in the volume battle. The reason guys like Aiemann Zahabi don't throw so hard, it's not all just tactics. It's cardio. It's fear of their own cardio, And if he's forced to fight, a hard fight, maybe he will fall apart in the end, He fell off in the Morales fight, got knocked out in the 3rd round against Ricardo Ramos. I don't really trust either one of these guys in round 3, to be honest. But I do think this will go to a decision. And I guess with a gun to my head, I would favor Aoriqileng, but the fact that I expect it to be a close fight and that it's in Canada has me staying away from this, to be honest. But if it wasn't in Canada, I would favor Aoriqileng with aggression. But Aiemann Zahabi, look, he's very much in the stand-up fight. You know, you could argue. I mean, I think he is the better striker. I just don't trust him to strike. You know, I think Aoriqileng will be throwing more. So I'm staying away from this one. And I guess if I was forced to give you a prediction, Aiemann Zahabi via split decision. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.